Hello everybody and welcome back to G4G Games for Gamers. We are taking a look at the very end of the Agent Venom PVP season. And I was just going to discuss a little bit about the teams that I've used on the offense throughout the season, how they fared, what I was typically seeing during a lot of fights, and just, taking a look at the closeout of the season. This has probably been the season that I've been most involved with. The one before this, I was really trying to push into Diamond to get the Beyond Corp driver, and failed at the tail end. I got in there several times, but that late day push on the last Monday kind of killed it, and the game wasn't functional in the last hour or so, so I couldn't maintain it. Here for the Agent Venom season, as you can see here, I've got a just about a 1400 rating, and that's pretty much where I've been hanging for most of the time over here. We've got about 2 hours left, and I had a defensive team for a little while of Grey Hulk and Heimdall, kind of thinking Heimdall's buffs could really make Grey Hulk absolutely vicious, because when I see him on defense, his stuff procs a lot and his Rage Punch hurts. Unfortunately, in here, as you can see, wasn't doing too well. This one is where I went back to Omega Sentinel and Heimdall, and I obviously put up a pretty good defense on this one. My attacks today were pretty much all wins, and they really countered yesterday's poor defensive. And as you can see here, I've been maintaining about a 1400 rating, so I don't know that I would be able to successfully push towards Agent Venom, but possibly. But I wanted to go over a little bit of what I've been doing with my teams and this last team that I've been using on offense here that has been pretty killer. I started off the season on offense with Heimdall and Omega Sentinel. Unfortunately, Heimdall was broken at the time. His vigilance wouldn't do anything, and it wasn't the case of where he would block but he wouldn't do the nope hand. He wasn't blocking. So he was not turning out to be too good. And then I went to a magic team of Dr. Voodoo and Magic, and they were doing okay, using Stalker to try to get 2 soul charges out on Magic pretty early for an early Unleash Hell. Dr. Voodoo being phased, really a lot of indirect damage, and attacking also stamina, doing a lot of forced refreshes due to low stamina. Dr. Doom came in there for a little while. Actually, Spiral came in over Magic, and that was a really good team. Dr. Voodoo and Spiral did a pretty good job of holding their own in the early to mid-season. Dr. Doom came in and did fantastic on offense, with my agent protecting him and kind of leaving him to do the lion's share of the damage. And there was also a bug with Dr. Doom at the time where if his cower or his ring went out before any buffs went out on the enemy team, you were invincible to debuffs the entire match. You could still take direct damage, but no debuffs were ever sticking. They were just, they wouldn't stick. When I started running into the higher levels and was often seeing the Mystic, unfortunately, with Mystic going out early, that kind of killed that bug with Dr. Doom, and then I think Playdumb fixed it. After that, I went over and was using Spiral and Dr. Voodoo for a little while, and then I settled upon Uncanny Cyke and Sabertooth, and these guys have definitely done a tremendous amount towards keeping me where I am here, and also what my agent runs. I think I've seen this guy before. So sick of these Warhulk Quicksilver groups. I'm really tired of seeing him. I'm tired of seeing him when he runs the stupid Skull Thumper or Vortex Lariat really early, and it messes up my game. So here they've got Mystic. I can't do any debuffs to him now, so I'm just going to do straight damage to... actually going to go for the Agent. Of course, reality hack. Oh, it's not a reality hack, it's a straight dodge. Okay, so Blackest Void went out. Whenever Blackest Void goes out, I like to do an AoE because AoEs don't ever seem to miss. However, that's going to enrage the Hulk over here, and he seems to be getting ready for an attack, so I think I'm just going to go pass. And that's a rarity. I rarely ever do that, but... Okay, so now we have the choice, and this is kind of the crux of the opening for me. Do I get my Void Generator out and protect my team and really only assault one of these guys? Well, actually, yeah, I'm going to hold the scroll because their shield is going to fall off. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my Void Generator and hope that it doesn't miss because of the disorient. Now, if it does, what'll happen is one of my people will not get the shield, but the other two will. So let's go for the agent and see what happens. Alright, take the hit there. See, that's bullshit. It's good. Okay, so now we got the shield up and we can sit a little bit. That's crap that Quicksilver hits that hard. Hate him. Hate him, hate him, hate him. So now we get a Berserker attack, so now I have an Enrage from hitting a Scrapper. Sabretooth has gone in there, got a bleed. Quicksilver, minimal damage against the shield, and I'm now doubly enraged. And again, minimal damage, especially the agent. He's keeping the enrage going. So now, since we're working on the agent, we're going to pop him. Now we've got flanked, which is perfect. Big key to the strategy here. And, ooh, nice. I love God, I love Sabretooth. This team, I love it. Because he gets all those wonderful stacks for hitting somebody who's bleeding. Alright, so he's going to use his suit close quarters. He has nobody that he's strong against, but he's going to try to whomp on Cyclops, and he's going to get the hit in. And Cyclops is hurting a little bit. Now, let's see if this will go for the kill. Okay, so we're going to try this and see if we can get the kill. And he's down. Alright, so another AoE, which takes out Cyclops, which is bad. So, I'm going to go ahead and scroll off Quick Douche's buffs over here. It's a shame we didn't get enough flanked out on the rest of the team, but we'll have the shield up next, so... Dude, God, I fucking hate you. Die in a fire, Quicksilver. I'm so sick of dealing with you. Keeps my rage going. I'm going to take some damage here, but Sabretooth still has his second life. He takes a good chunk. Still enraged. And get Sabretooth a little low, but he'll survive the Hulk hit. Now, I could go for the stun. Yeah, he's already doubly enraged, so let's try to go for the stun. And see if maybe Hulk won't get his turn. Yes! Oh, double stun. Okay. Hopefully, this should be the game right here. But what I'm going to do is normally I would attack Quicksilver for continuing the enraged, but because this is a little minor scroll here, I'm going to hit the Hulk and get rid of his enraged. And the Berserker jumps in, so now he gets bleeding too without triggering his bruiser enraged. Oh, the shield doesn't take off in range. Interesting. That could be a poor decision. Well, Quicksilver's down to one turn. He attacks my agent, keeps my enrage going. Does very little damage to the shield. I'm going to have him go after Quicksilver, get him bleeding, which having 2 turns of bleeds is pretty good. Pretty good hit on the shield, unfortunately. This is still mine to lose. It could still go into a loss over here. Yep, now that Sabretooth has lost his shield, Hulk will probably be smart and go for him. But he gets to live through it. And if I can take oh yes, another hit on Quicksilver. Brilliant. Another stack of buffs over here for Sabretooth. Alright, so now I get to do this to the Hulk. Which means migraine and mental anguish. And intimidated, so if we don't put him down over now, he's going to be pretty low on the offense. Sabertooth's attacks should be high enough that one of these should... Well, it's not going to put him all the way down, but it's pretty close. And he gets another turn because he's died and he's got his berserk. So this is why I've orchestrated my offensive team the way that it is. Cyclops puts out the flanked, which allows for a lot of attacks. He also has his very underrated level 2. Which is phenomenal for good counters. His level 2 puts out a nice debuff on infiltrators, which means they can't counterattack unless they use their suit. That's pretty handy. It also can take enraged off of bruisers, which allows Sabretooth to do a little bit of damage. It'll take off the crits of blasters. So, essentially, how my opening rounds would go is I would kind of see what buffs are out on the team and what I'm dealing with. Sometimes I use an early scroll to get rid of the Mystic so that I can start doing my work immediately. Sometimes I will only attack one person with the Void Generator and debuff that person and hold the scroll for whatever the team might do on offense. If I see like Pepsi Can or anybody who's going to put out a lot of debuffs, if I think Black as Void might go out, Heimdall. God, if I see Heimdall on the other side, I try to hold the scroll and get rid of his Yowlerhorn and use this in the first round. I never open up with custom only for killing, simply because I like getting the shield out very early for protection. My strategy does kind of fall down a little bit if the initial shield is dodged. If something happens that the initial shield does not go off, I can be in a little pain. I have no way of healing or recovering any of the health. But, little bug that's really, really nice about this thing is later in the game, after the first turn, if Void Generator misses, I still get the shield. I don't know where the bug is. I don't know if the bug is on the fact that it won't get the shield on a miss in the first round, or that it will give you the shield any other round. If you use Stalker with the cell, Stalker will still do surveillance if you fail to hit, but it won't target the enemy player, so you never get your counterattacks. But here is why I think the Void Generator shield is the best in the game overall. Customize, and I just recently forged this up, and I think it's put in a tremendous help to do that. Removes beneficial statuses from the target, so it's a targeted scroll. Void Shield absorbs damage, removes and prevents harmful debuffs. That is the key right there. The Magnetic Field Generator, or Magneto. Yes, you're not using 2 slots to get this done with any other shield, but the Magnetic Field Generator, Magneto, all of their shields only prevent the damage, debuffs, dots, all of that stuff still gets through. This protects against everything with the exception of things that penetrate shields or do bonus damage against shielding, like Friggin' Omega Sentinel's Plasma Flare. Hate that thing. Attackers hitting the Void Shield have a buff removed. So all of these make this out to be, I think, the best shield in the game, and for me, worth the 2 slots. So this is almost the equivalent of running a scroll, and I think this gives me a lot of usability and decision making in the first round. Tactician over here, Cyclops, with being the uncanny version. His don't die on me, I've seen it happen a little bit. I've seen it happen on himself, but it's not that impressive. For me, the extra turns and the flanked is the reason why I'm using him. Sabretooth, what can I say? I think he's the biggest workhorse of the team. I have had several instances where it's been my agent against a lone Heimdall and I've won. It's tedious and I do it, but I can counter his buffs enough. But Sabretooth, especially later in the game, can even take out a bruiser. His blood rage and his attacker empowered eISO makes him a phenomenal endgame guy. The only thing that's really bad is if the agent hits a late scroll and takes out a ton of his buffs that have been building up the whole time. But he is extremely versatile. He's got that stun. The stun exploits bleeds. He's can open up the fight with his level 2 before a bleed is out because you're not burning a stack, and he's really good against enemy infiltrators because of that. And the custom only for killing, why I like this one is a number of reasons. It's a stealthy gun. It hits what I want it to hit. It can't get protected against. So I love that. Whatever I aim this at, I hit. The other thing is it's 4 shots. So even if it's probability hacked or any of that kind of crap, you're still going to get hopefully one of the hits in. All it takes is one of the hits to do migraine and mental anguish. It's also psychic, which is why it's basically stealthy and gets around everything. This gun is extremely powerful, not for the top end, but the fact that it's going to hit somebody even if other people are protecting. So Captain America be damned, Omega Sentinel, Rescue, whatever. Those guys, screw you. It will also, the fact that it has 4 hits, it's pretty much going to get through reality hacking or any random dodge. And mental anguish is a big hit. Anybody who's used Emma Frost knows that mental anguish is solid. It's kind of weak in the sense that you're not going to hit the same target 2 rounds in a row. And actually the defensive AI has been pretty good at occasionally resting to avoid the hit. But it's very hit or miss as to whether or not the AI is going to be smart enough to get rid of it. It's just a fantastic gun, and I like using it in the round that I'm not using my void generator. And it's pinpoint. It's up every turn, it doesn't have a cooldown, and migraine is good for protecting somebody like Sabretooth from a bruiser. If a bruiser's all buffed up and it's like Hulk with a bunch of Hulk ups and he's enraged, this is a lovely little counter for that. The only thing this is not good for is hitting somebody who's stunned. Somebody who's stunned is essentially going to negate the mental anguish, so you have to make sure the front end damage gets the kill. So that's the team that I'm running. I thought briefly about using Sabretooth in the spot of Sabretooth over there. Excuse me, Deadpool over Sabretooth. But the thing is, I don't have the eISO that's bugged right now, which is his spicy. I have his savory one, and it's pretty handy. He's not quite as resilient as my Sabretooth. As you can see here, his stats are pretty good. His stamina's a little low, but he's a 5-star in attack, and he's 4 elsewhere. And the reason why I thought he might be good against Sabretooth is the fact that a fully buffed Happy to See You is a massive overkill, even against somebody who's got full power. Plus, he also has the ability to remove buffs. Um, but he is a little bit squishy compared to Sabertooth, and I've really come to rely on that extra life and the berserk mode that he goes into. But Deadpool's pretty solid, and practice has come back recently. Practice was down for a while, and I really thought about using a team of Moonstone and Greyhulk. Because his fighting dirty procs a lot when he's on defense, and it didn't proc a whole lot when I was running him on offense, and I really thought that Moonstone would be good for shutting down somebody like Quicksilver by hitting them with forceful personality, but yeah, she just didn't materialize for me. So there you go. There is the end of my Agent Venom season. This is the team that I was using at the end. Defense, I'm trying out this team here at the tail end. It's basically got the magnetic field generator that I hate. The reason why I switched to this is I've watched an AI use a void generator, only one in this entire season, and it was stupid. It was like watching a seizure happen. It would use the cell, but not always the gun, sometimes the gun without the cell. It was stupid. So I just went with keeping this, which will be up every round, a reboot to protect against debuffs and crits, and, just hopefully setting up so that this is used not when she has her shield out and everything. So we'll see how it does, and hopefully I will wind up in Vibranium when this ends. Maybe I'll get Adamantium, but I don't think so. So, take care, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this video at the last end of this season.